Today is all about full-on party pooper mode. There's 6 games left this season. If we win today, we get into the Champions League for sure, even though we're probably already there. If Paris Saint-Germain win today, they win the league and pretty much go the season unbeaten with a couple of games to go. So we want to spoil their fun. We can't really win the league, but we can stop them having an invincible season. Hello and welcome to part 9 of my Football Manager 2018 beta save with Monaco. I'm Kev. Coming up on this episode, I've done this before, I promise. We're playing against Paris Saint-Germain and Guingamp. Someone did tell me how to say that, but I've forgotten. Since you were last with me, we've been doing all right again. 3 wins. So we can win football matches, and this is what the league table looks like. With 6 games left to go, we're 13 points behind Paris Saint-Germain. A win today would put us only 10 points behind them with 5 games left, and maybe knock the stuffing out of them a little bit. I mean, to be fair, their form generally quite good. If we have a look at their recent schedule, yeah, they don't lose many matches, do they? So we're doing this for honour and for the opportunity to ruin their invincible fun rather than as a genuine attempt to try and win the league. And this is the team that we're going to go out there and do it with. We've got Subasic in goal, a back four of Sidibe, Jamison, Glick and Torre, with Feyset in behind Fabinho and Moutinho, and then Lamar in behind Jovetic and Falcao. Falcao is currently the top scorer in the French league, which I think that's not a bad achievement when he's in a league that contains Neymar. Falcao better than Neymar, confirmed. Right, let's get into the game. Sidibe's been injured on and off for weeks now. I think this is his second sort of little niggly injury. Why is Neymar not even in their team? That's interesting. Remember, we've got the Mbappe money coming in soon as well, hopefully. I know there's been a bug in Football Manager where some people have been getting the Mbappe money, some people haven't, and I don't really know what to expect at the end of this season. I'd like to think we're about to get £160 million plonk into our transfer kitty and we can just go absolutely crazy over the summer. We should find out what the transfer budget is after this game, if we win, or at least some point during this episode we'll find out what kind of transfer kitty that we've got for the summer. I'm hoping it's a big juicy pile of cash and I can just go crazy and then we can go and win the league next year. Because when we're in a league where the only team that's better than us is Paris Saint-Germain and they spend crazy, the only way we can compete with that is to spend crazy. So 2 priorities. 1, spend crazy. 2, don't sell anyone to them. They wanted Fabinho in January and luckily didn't come in with an offer for him in the end. He's since agreed for me to raise his asking price up to about £95 million, I think, which is awesome. But even still, they could come and spend that without any kind of issue. And we don't want to be selling our best players to them no matter what kind of money comes in. If I was in charge, Mbappe wouldn't have been sold to them. We'd have let him go anywhere else in the world for half of the money that they're paying for him. But there would have been no sum of money that would have allowed him to go to Paris Saint-Germain, just because it then makes it that bit harder for us to win the league. Right, are we... I thought we were in the right direction there, and suddenly they're breaking on us ever so quickly, and they're in, and Subasic with a fantastic save. I tell you what, I mentioned, was it last episode, the one before, that on my shopping list would be a new goalkeeper. I don't know if I'm on board with that anymore. Subasic, when it counts, pulls off some absolutely cracking saves. He's got that element of random in him that all fun goalkeepers have, where no matter how good a game he's having, there's always the threat that he's just going to throw it into his own net, which he's done a couple of times. I think he did it against Man City in the Champions League. Just pulled off 2 fantastic saves, then a spectacular own goal. But by and large, he's a solid keeper, and I think there are areas in this team that need strengthening more than in goal. Most importantly, up front and centre-back, and maybe some youngsters for some strength and depth in midfield as well. We've got on a very, very thin squad. We should have some more youngsters starting to come through. We all know what the Monaco production line is like, but we don't really want to be going into next season, which will definitely be the last season. We're not going to go beyond 2 seasons on this save, but we don't want to go in next season trying to develop young players. I mean, I know that's part of the fun of being Monaco manager, but we want to win the league. So we've got to go in there with a team of players, a squad of players that's ready to compete with Paris Saint-Germain. Means transfer business is going to be incredibly important. It's going to be a busy summer. We've settled in for a year now. I am. Why is the league table gone again? I am still working on the assumption that I'm not going to get sacked. I've seen a few horror stories on Twitter of people who've had reasonably successful seasons, kept their team dynamics fully under control, and then it gets to summer and it all goes off the rails. So I'm a little bit worried that once the squad realise we didn't win the league or the Champions League, and they probably will realise that at some point when there's no trophy or anything for them. They'll realise it right now if Paris Saint-Germain get the trophy after the game. I'm not sure. I don't think they can win it today without beating us, which hopefully they're not going to do. But once they realise we've not won the league, there could be a few heads that drop. And then that's going to be the first big test of how dynamics affects a team that isn't just winning all the time. Because by and large, most weeks, we win our football matches. We don't lose very often. We said that about Paris Saint-Germain earlier, but we also don't lose very often. Certainly in the second half of this season, as we've got used to playing in this new system, we've become a really, really efficient team. And Carrillo has just scored an absolute beauty in the 91st minute. Backdoor Kev. I mean, surely not. But we're about to hand Paris Saint-Germain their first defeat of the season in the league. With 5 games to go. If they can lose another 3 or 4 and we win every game, we might just be able to backdoor Kev it. We're not going to, but it is a nice little boost to the confidence and the morale to go to their place and beat them, which I'm hoping we'll do. That we'd need that final whistle to come. Which, I mean, I don't like the fact they've still got the ball. Ref, we've had your 4 minutes added on now. Can we blow the whistle? No, we're still letting them attack. Mbappe was in there, but Jovetic did okay, but it's actually bounced straight back off him. I thought he'd held it up well, and they're crossing in again, and I thought that was going to be Subasic's moment to do an absolute howler, but surely the final whistle is coming now. Yet still it doesn't. I mean, how much are they paying this referee? Jovetic to Tielemans. Fabinho, sorry, not Falcao. Falcao's already gone off. We've now had an extra minute on top of the added on time and we've got a corner. The match should have ended a minute and a half ago, but still we're letting them attack. But we have won the match. We've stopped them winning the league today and we've just given ourselves a tiny little slither of hope that we're going to try and take into that next game against the team what I can't say. Paris Saint-Germain won their next game and have now won the league. We'll do this game anyway, and we'll also do the last game of the season and have a look at the money that we'll have spent by things we've been given. £70 million to spend to as a result of qualifying for the Champions League. So I've already made offers for 3 players and should have some new signings lined up to show you on tomorrow's episode, and then fingers crossed a few more the one after if we get the Mbappe money come through, which, like I say, still don't really know if that's going to be coming or not. But because we can't win the league, we're rotating a little bit. I mean, it's not a massive amount of rotation. We're just trying a few players that we've tried before. They're not new stuff, but in fact, we'll swap those 2 over. I was going to have another look at Fabinho as the regista, but to be honest, I'd rather give Sanderberger the time there. And I think that midfield 3, that's the future, because Moutinho and Facer are both late 20s, early 30s. These 3, all very young. So we'll give them the opportunity to play together and build some relationships up. Equally, with the front 3, Koric we brought in the summer, and we've never really given him a proper opportunity. He's played 1 league game for us. No, 6 league games for us so far. Don't know why it's split it around like that. He obviously didn't even appear for the reserves. I don't really understand. But we spent nearly £10 million on him. Let's give him a run of games to end the season. Likewise, Carrillo and Baldi. And we'll just see how they all get on. So Koric is lacking match fitness. I can understand that. The poor lad's barely played a game all year. But let's give him the opportunity to do exactly that now. And hopefully build a little threesome there. A little threesome there. And start putting building blocks down for having a little bit more strength in depth going into next season. Because we are going to be strengthening in areas where I think we need to strengthen, but we're not going to go out and buy 7 or 8 players, partly because we don't have the money for it, partly because I think that will wreck the dynamics. I think that's something that in FM18 is going to be much, much harder for clubs to do, but also because I don't think we necessarily need it. We've got quality, we just need to fill in some squad gaps a little bit. So we're definitely going to bring in a striker, we're definitely going to bring in a centre-back. once we move beyond there, I think that's all we need to strengthen the first team. I think having someone up alongside Falcao as a first choice striker, sorted. Someone alongside Glick at the back as a first choice centre back. And then I think our first 11 is really strong. And from there, it's just a case of, right, well, what happens if Lamar gets injured? Because we don't really, Courage maybe, but probably not if we're looking to win the league or challenge in the Champions League. We probably need another Champions League quality attacking midfielder, and we don't really have one at the moment. Someone like Baldi, is he ever going to be a proper striker, or do we try and cash in on him, move him on? We've got 3 or 4 wingers at the club that if we're committing to this diamond for next year again, which I don't know why we wouldn't, it served us well, then we've got wingers we can move on. And if we move some wingers on, we don't have much in the way of backup for our strikers. We'll have Carrillo and Jovetic as backups. Is that enough? If we have a new striker plus Falcao, Jovetic, Carrillo, do we really trust him? I know he scored a good goal in that last game, but I don't know. I don't know if he's the right kind of standard. What happens if Facer gets injured? We'd try and Sander Berger there again today. Is it something that he can realistically do long term as a backup player? It probably is with him. And then, obviously, I want to buy 3 or 4 fullbacks because fullbacks are great. Backup goalkeeper as well would be handy because at the moment, we don't have one. And when our reserve goalkeeper was injured before, we had Tielemans on the bench in the goalkeeper position because we just didn't have another keeper. And then we'll have a proper route through the reserves and the youth team as well, see if there's anyone we can promote. But I'd like to think with signings and promotions from within, we'll have no more than maybe 5 new faces in the squad for next year. And maybe 3 or 4 departures. Is that really right? Considering how thin our... The thing is, our squad isn't mega thin as a squad. It's mega thin in the positions we want strength in depth in. So we have got a squad of 23, 24, 25 league quality players. The only problem is 4 or 5 of them are wingers. So we take them out of the equation straight away. If we move them on and replace them with another defender, another striker, another midfielder, then we start to fill out the squad a little bit. And I've got a plan that if it works, we'll be all good. The big issue is going to be if I spend this 70 million quid before the end of the season, which I intend to. I hope that on tomorrow's episode, I'll be showing you 2 or 3 new signings that are already agreed to come in before the season ends to start as we mean to go on and get our spending done early to make sure we get the players that we want. The only problem is, am I then going to go crazy if I get a £140 million transfer budget after the Mbappe deal finalises? And I think we all know the answer to that. I'm going to go and spend £500 million on the Never Never if that happens and just ruin everything. So I'm going to try to avoid letting that happen. Emphasis on try. I'll try and act like a grown-up. Right, Baldi, trying to justify his place in the squad as a striker, and that's not the way to do it. That was a really weak finish. And I think as much as I like him, and both him and Carrillo, they've both had their moments this season, but I don't think either of them can be relied on as a regular source of goals at the level we want to be at. So I think if we got offers for either of them, we'd probably let them go. And that stands for a few of the fringe players, I think. There are players in a couple of different positions. Maybe George might be one of them. I know he's got a lot of potential, but we're only going to do one more season. We're not really living in a land of potential anymore. Is he going to get the job done for us now? And if not, ship him off. Right, let's get our first choice front 3 on, see what difference they make. See, as much as I like Lamar and as much as I've enjoyed having him in my teams in FM16 and FM17, he really doesn't seem to suit playing as an attacking midfielder. So he does have some great performances there, but he's not as good as he would be if we were playing him out wide. And we're not going to play him out wide. So again, he's one where if we were to get a 60 or 70 million pound offer for him, for example, I'd probably let him go and look to replace him with a Champions League quality proper attacking midfielder. Jovetic has grabbed us the win, hopefully, right at the death. And that puts us back up to 13 points behind Paris Saint-Germain 13 points behind. We can catch them. We mathematically can't. But at least we're in the Champions League. And I think for a first season, for learning the game as we go, working out the tactic, learning how dynamics works, it's not been a disastrous season. I just hope I don't end up getting fired for not meeting expectations. There you go. Berger, with the assist from Lamar, makes it 3 and makes it look a lot more comfortable than it actually was in the end. But it's a good corner from Tielemans. Did Lamar knock it down? No, Lamar controls it, just tucks it across, and Berger is ready and waiting. And we still haven't set up set-piece instructions. I wonder what difference that would have made over the course of the season if we'd have done that. Hopefully no difference. But go on, let's grab a fourth. Let's make it look really easy. Lamar can't beat his man. It doesn't matter. We've won a meaningless game, and I can't show you any further than that because I don't want you to see the players I've bid for yet. That's what you're going to find on tomorrow's episode. So if you have enjoyed that, please make sure you give it a nice big thumbs up for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.